What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Big Nick Energy YouTube channel. Mill here with another post-game show. This one is a win over the Detroit Pistons, 113 to 111. That was a crazy ending that just happened. I'm still trying to process that last sequence there, the last 10 seconds. I was really scared because, it kept going both ways. Everyone kept turning over the ball. The Pistons had it, and then the Knicks had it, and it was insane. If the Knicks lost tonight, I would have been pretty pissed just because this is not a game we should have to lose, and that's not the way to end a game if we would have lost like that. But we didn't lose thanks to Josh Hart in the clutch. He came out super clutch in those last few seconds, was able to get the ball, hit the shot, and get the and one. And, even after that, I think he did miss one free throw or two. He got the rebound again. So it didn't matter. He continued to out hustle the Pistons, grab rebounds. And this was pretty much his game. He showed out everything tonight, not just rebounds that we know he usually does. He did everything. He scored. He got steals. He got assists. This was his game. And, shout out to Josh Hart. You can see it right here. He had 23 points, 6 assists, 8 rebounds. Insane. But look at the overall Nova trio. Like, that's a crazy trio right there. And you can tell the chemistry is still there. They played together in college, and the way they're playing right now on this Knicks team, you can tell that, it seems like they're right back in college because they're playing very well together. Brunson had 35, DiVincenzo had 21, all huge tonight, but really, really shout out to Josh Hart. He pretty much won this game for us. That shot at the end there sealed the deal. And it gave us it helped us put us in front, despite it being that close still. It was like a 1-point game, but he grabbed another rebound and it was huge for us. Hit him up said the Knicks look ugly right now. That game was not pretty. You're completely right, Hit him up. That game was ugly, especially, from a fan perspective. That's not what you want to see the Knicks do. You don't want to see them go head to head against the Pistons, who have only won 8 games on the season. To win a game like this only by 2 points against the Pistons, it definitely shows that, we do have a few holes going on in this team. And one of the major issues tonight was the defense. The defense was not there at all. I mean, we let this Pistons team score, I think it was like 50 at halftime, and that's not acceptable. This is a team that's only won, again, 8 games. We can't let them get ahead of themselves. So the defense was truly, truly bad tonight. And we didn't really play defense at all, in any quarter. We let them follow us, right? They were right behind us the entire game. And we let them come back too. I think we took like a 10-point lead in that fourth quarter, but they were right behind us. They came back, and look how close the game ended. Literally one possession. It was 113 to 111. So that was extremely close. Salute to Kareem. Thank you for tuning in. He said, cardiac Knicks. Sheesh, I'm glad we got the win. Salute, my sis. Salute to you, Kareem. Pretty much you summed it up. Cardiac Knicks. They really like to get us fans. They really like to almost give us a heart attack, because that last sequence, that last 10 seconds, truly, I didn't know how to feel during that, because it was going back and forth. Literally so many turnovers. And I didn't know we were going to score, because I think we were down 1 at that point, and we literally had 10 seconds to put up a shot. And I was really scared the wrong person was going to take the shot. I wanted it to be Brunson, but then it ended up being Hart who got the ball, and he got the and one, which was huge for us. Knicks will be 2026 NBA champs. Said defense was terrible tonight. Yeah, it truly was. I just mentioned it. It was awful. It really hurts to see that our defense was not up to par against a team that, is one of the worst I'm pretty sure they're the worst in the league. We have to find ways to be better, and take care of business, basically. They always refer to that term, don't play with your food. That's not what we have. We can't play with our food, and the Pistons are food to us. They're the worst team in the league. We can't play with them. And it seemed like tonight we almost did. We were playing with them, with how much we lacked on the defensive end. We were letting them come back. We weren't able to defend Cade at all. Cade Cunningham was a problem tonight. He ended the game with 32 points. So he was a huge issue for us tonight. I mean, literally the first half, I believe he was perfect. It was either the first quarter or the first half. He didn't miss a single shot, which is crazy. I mean, he's a really good player, but wild. Noah Jordan said, Josh Hart is clutch. I'm concerned about them after this, but I'm more so worried about them playing the Pelicans tomorrow, who have better players. Yeah, back-to-back game is never easy, and especially after watching how we struggled tonight, I definitely am concerned for tomorrow night's game, and I'm not sure if we'll, be able to put up the same effort we did tonight in those last few moments, because it is a back-to-back. But hopefully, we've seen this Knicks team play really well before. We've seen this Knicks team go on winning streaks, and just refer back to January. That was probably our best month. It's probably going to be our best month of this season. And we've seen what they can do when they're really, really good, and they have all the pieces. They have healthy players. OG in that month was phenomenal. That was the first month we got him. And even Julius Randle, Brunson, when we have all those pieces, we were so dangerous. And so, we are a different team as well now, because now we have Bojan Bogdanovic, we have Alec Burks. It's definitely a huge adjustment to fit those guys in. So it's going to take, I think it's still going to take time for everyone to figure it out. And it's going to take even more time when OG comes back and Julius Randle. Again, we are down some men. We are undermanned. I know that watching a game like tonight against the Pistons, where we struggle tremendously, is concerning. But don't forget that we are down Julius Randle. We are down OG Anunoby. Those are two huge, very impactful players for this Knicks team. And that's why I wasn't upset about some of these losses. Before All-Star break, we lost a few games where literally it was Jalen Brunson against the other teams. There were a lot of guys out. And even against the Celtics, it's still tough to win against good teams when you don't have your best players, when you don't have your strongest weapons out there. That's why I don't get too mad about a loss like that against the Celtics. I know we have to get to the point where we should be able to beat them. But right now, it's tough. I didn't do a post game after that Celtics game, but best team in the East. It's an extremely impossible task right there to beat them. And we now are 0-4 against them this season. Craig said, we need OG back ASAP and Randall, and we will be fine. Exactly. Literally what I was just, pointing out. That's what I was just saying. We need them back. It's easier when they're on the floor, especially having OG, who is our best defensive player out there. He would definitely have been able to stop Cade tonight. I'd hope so, because Cade went off. He was a problem, and we couldn't stop him at all. Hit Him Up said, who would you rather have as our shooting guard, Devin Booker or Donovan Mitchell? Oh, that's pretty tough, honestly. I think I might have to go Booker. I've been seeing what Donovan Mitchell can do. I've been seeing it. I mean, for years we've been able to see that, and we wanted to trade for him as well. And that's, what was it, like 2 summers ago? We really wanted him. And he's been on a rampage this season, leading the Cavs to literally the second best, the second seed in the Eastern Conference. So Donovan Mitchell is really up there, as well as Devin Booker. But I've always wanted Booker on the Knicks. I always just wish that could happen. Really elite shooting guard and really great player. If it can happen sometime, maybe this summer, maybe next summer, I'd be all for it. Terry Hall said, this game shouldn't have been this close. We've got a lot of improving. Love your show. Appreciate it, Terry. Thank you for tuning in. And I agree. This game should not have been close at all. I honestly was waiting for when we were going to pull away from this Pistons team. I was wondering, when are we going to develop this lead, a 15, 20-point lead, and it never happened. I think the most we had was 10, maybe a little over 10 points as a lead, but we were never able to pull away from them and feel comfortable in this game and even rest our starters at one point. We never did that. So you're right. It shouldn't have been this close. I'm not really sure what happened with our defense tonight. at all because it was a huge issue from the get-go. Even the telecast in the telecast, Mike Breen pointed out it just looks like they're a step slow, and that's pretty much what it looked like. They were a step slow tonight. A lot of the pick and rolls hurt the Knicks. They weren't able to switch quickly, or they just didn't switch at all. It wasn't really good at that pick and roll. And Noah said, I'm not fully worried, though. We're missing two of our best defenders and Randall, so hope is once they're back, we don't have a scare like tonight. Exactly. I mean, I have to keep reminding everyone that we can't get too caught up in it yet because we're very undermanned. And Julius Randle and OG Anunoby, they're our second and third option when it comes to this Knicks team. When they're on the floor, they're going to be our second and third option behind Jalen Brunson. So to have both of them out is really, really hard for this Knicks team. It shouldn't be discredited what losing them has done to this team. It's a difficult task some games to win without your second and third option out there. And don't forget Mitch. You're right. One of our best defenders on the team, if not, right behind OG. He was huge, and he's always been one to protect the paint. We need that some games. You can tell our paint is wide open. We miss his presence a lot, but he was actually there tonight. If you guys didn't catch him on the bench next to Randall, they were both there. I'm really glad to see him back in MSG. We haven't seen him in a while. I believe he's doing on-court activities. We know Julius Randle is. If you guys have peeped that, he is definitely he's been practicing. I saw he posted a picture today working out with his assistant coach, Johnny Bryant. So Randall's back in the lab. He's working. I believe Mitch is as well. I've seen some videos of him. And they're both out there. They're trying to come back. They're working hard. Hopefully they're progressing really well. We need them back. The sooner the better. Hit him up said another loss tomorrow, back-to-back against the New Orleans Pelicans. Yeah. You see another loss coming? I don't want to say it. I don't want to say that we are going to lose that game, but it's going to be a tough one, especially after the way tonight ended. I was really hoping that we were able to take care of business early on in this game so that we can rest the starters for the fourth quarter. And, because it's a back-to-back tomorrow night, it would have been really helpful to have those starters rested up a bit. But that was not the case. These guys played till the very end, till the game buzzer went off and the game was over. So they're going to be feeling it. If we see the Knicks a step slow tomorrow night as well on the defensive end, don't be surprised. Don't be surprised at all. What's up, Brandon? Salute. Thank you for tuning in. He said Nova Knicks. Pretty much. These are the Nova Knicks. I have the graphic up right next to me with Brunson, Devo, and Hart. It's crazy to me that, this trio right here played in college and they're back on the same team in the NBA. I don't think that's ever happened in the NBA before where three guys have, I want to say like three guys have been on the same team again where they all won a championship. And they all won the NCAA tournament and they're back on an NBA team. It's crazy. Hit him up said, I lost it if Grimes would have won the game winner. Tell me why this dude was going crazy against us. Quentin Grimes was insane in that fourth quarter. I believe he had 14 points and he was just literally hitting everything he got, hitting clutch shots that, either tied the game, either put the Pistons up. I was like, what is this guy doing? Someone pointed it out on Twitter that he never used to do this for us. And now all of a sudden, this guy's clutch and he could shoot lights out in the fourth quarter. It's crazy to think about that, but I'm really glad he did not hit the game winner. He did hit some clutch shots for the Pistons, but ultimately we won. So, yeah, I didn't even mention that yet, but it was Quentin Grimes and Evan Fournier's first game back in MSG after they got traded, and they let the fans know, all right. They definitely let the fans know. Let's see what Evan Fournier ended up with. He ended up with 7 points. Okay. He was like 3 for 5 from the field, 1 for 3 from the three-point line. Nothing much there. But Grimes, on the other hand, had 14. And those were all in the fourth quarter. So he was lighting it up in that fourth quarter. And he was 4 for 9 from the field, 3 for 6 from the three-point line. 3 rebounds, a couple assists, but it was their first time back. And for some reason, Fournier hurts a lot of boos from the MSG crowd. I was honestly surprised that he got so many boos. I know I've definitely seen a lot of fans hate on him before, especially on Twitter. If you're not on Twitter, I've seen a lot of fans hate, but to actually hear those loud boos and it wasn't just once. You'd hear them multiple times every time pretty much he had the ball or shot the ball. So that was a little surprising there. I mean, personally, I wouldn't have booed him just because there's no reason to. It's not like he's like a villain to us. He was not that at all. He's a guy that got benched for a year and he got traded. That's pretty much what the story is. He didn't do anything to us personally. I mean, maybe he has beef with Tom Thibodeau, but we're not Tom Thibodeau, so he doesn't have beef with us. And I didn't really get the boost tonight, but he didn't really go off against us. It was his revenge game. A lot of people were saying he was going to go for 30. That didn't happen. He ended up with 7. This was a revenge game for Grimes, though. He definitely did go off in that fourth quarter. And he did look back at the Knicks bench after he hit a 3, I believe. It was a little dramatic there. It's tough. I was a little upset when we traded Grimes because I always thought he was a good kid. And he was huge for us in last season. And he plays really great defense. We know that. He'll show up every night playing great defense. But it is what it is. We had to do it to get Alec Burks and Bojan Bogdanovic. We had to do it to get that, to make our team better and to make our team deeper. We have more depth now. Westy West says, Pistons got to get credit. They play harder than their record shows, but Hart is a dog. Just a gritty dub. Yeah, definitely I got to give the Pistons some credit tonight. They played really hard. And, if you were to just watch this one game against the Knicks, you wouldn't think that the Pistons have only won 8 games on the season. They played definitely extremely hard. And the way they were able to keep up with the Knicks, you wouldn't think this is the worst team in the league right here. Especially with, some of the guys they got, like Cade. He's a pure bucket. Literally 10 for 19 from the field, 5 for 7 from the 3-point line. He ended up with 32. They got some really good weapons, I would say, young weapons that still need learning, and they're going to grow and develop. And one of those guys is Quentin Grimes, who they just got. I definitely hope that Grimes can somehow flourish on this team. He didn't really get to on the Knicks that much, especially offensively. So, hopefully he can get his chance there, as well as Evan Fournier. Dude was on a bench for more than a year. It's gotta hurt. It's gotta hurt to be, not be able to play that long. So, we saw him play 20 minutes tonight, but let's see if he can keep it up. Jason B said, we had an off day and still won. Every team has a bad game every so often. Yeah, and I'm definitely glad we did win this game, because after the loss against the Celtics this past weekend, we needed to bounce back. We needed to get the win against the Pistons. This was a little bit of a trap game, just because, even though the Pistons have a horrible record, they're very young and they're a hardworking team. Despite having so many losses, they're a team that will try to win every game because of their record, because how awful it is. They want to win more games. So that definitely showed tonight. Their effort was there. Their defense was there. I mean, they tried their best. Oh, no. Let's see. Hit him up said, do y'all think Brunson is getting exposed without Randall and OG Mitch? Well, he's definitely having a harder time, and that's because the teams are doubling him most of the time. So exposed, but I mean, that's going to happen. That's going to happen without your second and third option out there. It's been a difficult time for Brunson, but he's still able to produce. I mean, look, 32 points tonight. I mean, 35 points tonight. He's still doing what he does best, scoring the ball. And look, 12 assists, 2 steals. Definitely not having Randall and OG is tough for him, but I think he's still handling it really well. There's some moments where you'll see he is getting exposed a little bit, and he needs help, or he needs to pass the ball if he's getting double teamed. Yeah, but I think he's still been playing really well. Brendan Kwan said the basketball gods blessed us after that Rockets stolen game. That is so true. That is very, very true because, I saw a lot of people saying after the game just ended, that it could have been a foul on the Knicks at the end there. I'm not going to say it should have been. It definitely shouldn't have been. The Knicks deserve this win. But you never know. Like, that could have been called. And I would have been extremely upset. You guys don't even know. I would have been so pissed because you just mentioned it. The Rockets game was a whole big thing. If this were to happen to us again tonight and they called that foul and the Pistons got bailed out, I would have been so upset. But, you're right. The gods blessed us. They're like, that can't happen again. Jonathan said, that's why I say give it 1 or 2 years, earn a chip. Yeah, I know a lot of people, literally someone in this chat has a name that says Knicks will win 2026 NBA champs. I definitely think this year it's going to be tough because there's so many great teams. I mean, especially in the West. There's a lot of great teams in the West. And then you have the Boston Celtics, who are number 1 in the East, that we have not been able to win a game against once this season. But I have to point out that I'm pretty sure in all 4 of those games, like, we have been undermanned by at least 2 people. The last game, we didn't have OG, we didn't have Randall, we didn't have Mitch. And then the first 2 or 3 times we played them, that was a completely different team with RJ Barrett and Emmanuel Quickley, no OG, and no Boyan, no Alec Burks. So I really, really need to see how a full, healthy Knicks team would be able to compete against the Boston Celtics. And unfortunately, we won't get to see that this season because we've played them 4 times already. So if we're going to see it, it's going to be in the playoffs. I don't want them in the first round or the second, just because we haven't been able to beat them yet. Cam from the Kickback said, salute Mills, salute BKE, chat. Man, oh man, we barely got out with that sub, but it's a win. Glad we got that. Knicks Twitter would have went nuts had we lost to that Grimes go-ahead bucket. Salute to you, Cam. Thank you for tuning in. And you're right. Knicks Twitter would have went bonkers because it was a Grimes revenge game, and he did hit a lot of clutch shots. There definitely would have been a lot of overreactions. I don't think I would have been one of them, guys. I've pretty much matured now, where, well, I would have been mad because our defense completely sucked. This game was awful, but it depends on that ending there. If we got called for a foul, it would have been a completely different story. Westy West says the Celtics are our only threat in the East. Yeah, I was just mentioned that we're 0-4 against the Celtics. Unfortunately, they are our only threat. I mean, our biggest threat, I would say. Jack City said a Knick fan just entered the chat. Welcome, Jack. He said first live I've ever caught. Okay, welcome and glad you're here. First time. Wow. Hope you're enjoying it. I love seeing the comments. I love hearing the feedback. So any thoughts you have on the game, just go ahead and comment. Hit him up said tonight Knicks won but didn't won. Interesting. Hit him up. I mean, yeah, we won. We definitely won against the Pistons, but I mean, if you're referring to how we played, then I could give it to you that we played awful. In terms of defense, I'd say, guys. I'm not saying offensively. Offensively, look, we were able to score the ball. Look, Brunson had 35, DiVincenzo had 21, Josh Hart had 23. So that was a different ball game. But on the defensive end, not great. Oh, Jay said, I'll go to this one first. Jay said, I actually wanted to see a tight game just to see Tibbs' hand and see the rotations and adjustments. I didn't want a tight game at all. I wanted us to blow this team out because it's the Pistons. If we lose to the Pistons, it gets literally plastered all over national media that, like the Pistons beat the Knicks, and we would get clowned. So many NBA fans would clown us for losing to the Pistons, and we'd never hear the end of it. So I definitely wanted us to just blow them out, but it was a close game, literally till the end of it. 113, 111. We won by 2 points. Hit him up said, I miss RJ Barrett. Josh Hart is not it. Look, I mean, I don't know how we can say Josh Hart is not it after this game. I'm sorry. He just had probably one of the best games of his season, besides that time where he had a triple double, 10 points, 10 rebounds, and 10 assists. But this was a huge game for him. I mean, he was able to score the ball when we needed him to do. He was able to pass the ball, 6 assists. I mean, he's not our starting point guard. He's not, and he's putting up 6 assists along with 8 rebounds. We know he rebounds really, really well. I believe they showed the stat on the telecast there. Guys under 6'4", who's leading the rebounds for guys under 6'4", and it's Josh Hart. It's Josh Hart by a large margin there. So I don't miss RJ Barrett. You know, I hope he's doing well in Toronto. I haven't really been keeping up with him at all. I'm not sure how he's been doing, but you know, Josh Hart played great tonight. I'm not going to say anything that he's not it right now. Michael said OG would have made this game a blowout. Yeah, definitely. I mean, he would have brought defense. He would have brought, he's that defensive mindset to the Knicks team. And I don't know how he does it, but that before he got hurt, so ever since he got traded to the Knicks, that time from he brought so much intensity to the game, and you wouldn't really see those type of stats in the box score or anything. You'd have to watch the game to actually see his impact. And then it was contagious. Like literally every other Knick stepped up their D when he came to the Knicks, and it literally looked like it was contagious, that everyone was able to step up and play really great defense as well. Paulo said, every win counts. Every win is huge while we wait for the team to get healthy. I agree. Every win is huge because, if we lose a few games, we can drop down in the standings, and that's a huge thing because we don't want to drop down low enough to where we have to literally face the Celtics in the first round. We don't want that to happen at all. I mean, I'm really hoping we can achieve the 3rd seed. I don't think we'll be able to achieve the 2nd or 1st. It's up there. 2nd is still up there too, because I think it's only like 2 games probably back. I'll have to check the standings in a little bit. But I'm just hoping for 3rd seed because I know we're still undermanned. I know we're still missing pieces, so that's what I can hope for. Hit him up said, is it true Randall's going to get surgery? I have not heard that he's going to get surgery, or I haven't heard that. I mean, I've heard some reports that surgery hasn't been ruled out, but there's been no report saying he is going to get the surgery. That's pretty much what I've seen and heard. He's actually practicing and he's been working out. We saw pictures posted earlier today by him that he is in the lab. He's putting up shots with his coach. So hopefully he does not need the surgery. They haven't ruled it out yet. I think it's more like a day-to-day thing where they want to see, like, is he progressing? How's he handling everything on the court right now? So hopefully he doesn't need it. But no, he's not going to get it. As of right now, they haven't said anything. Jack said, going to be a part of the replay gang, got to get back to work. Appreciate you, Jack. Hope you have a good time at work. And I'm glad we got this Knicks win tonight. We needed it. We needed it to bounce back after the Celtics loss. And, someone literally just mentioned it, that every win counts. Brandon said, my boy Devo with the tackle of the year. I mean, steal. Brandon, don't say tackle. I feel like the Pistons might file for a protest, honestly. The way we did it against the Rockets, I'm not going to lie, that ending there was a little messy. It was definitely messy. And it was a little hard to see, too, because where the little fight was going on, not fight, but the mess was going on was the top of the court. So you couldn't really see it that much, but I'm afraid to look at replays and see if there was a lot of contact on Cade. or any other Pistons. So yeah, let's just say it was a steal. We're Knicks fans. We got that win. We don't need any protests to happen and take away our win right there. Knicks will be 2026 NBA champs. Said Fournier talked trash about the Knicks after he got traded. What exactly did he say? I haven't seen anything major, of him. It'd be great if you could comment exactly what he said, because I don't think I saw anything huge where I was like I was offended as a fan. And even if he did like say a little bit of ish, whatever, he literally was on that bench for a year plus. I would be mad if I was him. So I mean, he's probably just getting his frustrations out. But I mean, if he talked about the fans in a bad way or the team in a bad way, that's a different story. Brandon said, facts, trading for old heads was so stupid. Should have been the only, DeJounte Murray should have been the only move we would move Grimes for. And, it's crazy that Grimes and even RJ, they were involved in a lot of trade talks last summer, whatever, a year ago. First it was RJ who we didn't want to give up for Donovan Mitchell. And I think Grimes was also supposed to be in that, but we didn't give up either of them. And then it was before the trade deadline. We were talking about DeJounte Murray a lot. That was a huge rumor for Knicks trades. We didn't get him, obviously, but there were some rumors that Grimes was supposed to be involved in that. We ended up getting Bojan and Alec Burks instead. So I think that's still a good move for us right there. I know we missed out on Murray, but I still think that's a move that really puts us at the top with the depth of this team, how deep we are. But Brandon did say, game on the line, both those old heads were on the bench. I mean, I think Alec Burks, he's a little bit questionable just because, I mean, I think he's like a really on and off player where if he doesn't have it going, I don't want him playing at all. It's not like he brings great defense to the team like Grimes did, who was a really good defender. But Bogdanovic, he was solid tonight. He had 13 points, 3 3-pointers, 5 for 11 from the field. I think he was pretty solid. Oh, and he had 6 rebounds. So, he's bringing something to the table. This guy is like he was a 20-point per game scorer before he was on the Knicks. We know he can score the ball, and I'm still gonna give them just like a little bit. I still have to give them some time to fit into their new roles. It's tough, always going to a new team, and especially I think for Bogdanovic, it's hard for him to adjust going from like a 20+ point scorer to coming off the bench, and I mean, just putting up around 10 points. Tonight he had 13 though. Let's see what other comments we have here. Terry Hall said, what do you think of that trade? Burks hasn't shown me much so far. I miss Quentin Grimes, but they could have Evan Fournier. Oh yeah, I mean, we were just mentioning it. Burks is questionable, and I know a lot of people have been down on him. I haven't really said much to criticize him yet, but he does have his selfish moments where he will literally just take the ball and shoot it every single time. We don't need a guy like that on a team. We don't need him to check up shots. We need him to, be a little bit more of a playmaker as well as score the ball. So, like I just said, when he's not feeling it, it hurts this Knicks team. And I don't want him on the floor. I'd rather have someone that will actually play defense on the floor, such as McBride. And we saw that the other night. I forgot who we were playing, but it was a coaching decision by Tibbs to put in McBride over Burks to close out the game, and it was a huge decision. McBride ended up literally playing better defense than Burks did that whole game. So it was a good decision to do that, especially when Burks is not able to, he's not getting it going offensively. Jonathan said, but you know what, Millie, we're at home and not on the road, so there might be a good chance to win. And recently we had previous back-to-back wins, previous back-to-back games on the road, which tough in January 5th, 6th, and 29th and 30th, and won. Yeah, we will be at home, so that's always an advantage to be at the Garden. And yeah, it's a little bit of an advantage, but I don't know how much being at home will help them with their energy and resting up, because it is a back-to-back and those legs are going to be tired, especially after how they had to fight tonight to get a win against the Pistons. I mean, it was down to the wire, down till the game was over. So I agree, though, Jonathan. I will always say, like, the Knicks have a chance to win. And, especially since we got some of our guys back ever since All-Star break. We got Hartenstein back, and we got DiVincenzo, who had a little bit of I believe it was a sore hamstring before the All-Star break, and Bogdanovic, who missed one game before All-Star break. So we have most of our guys back. We're just still missing OG and Randall and Mitch. So I still believe we have a good chance. Brandon said Knicks will play Celtics one more time this season. Oh, will they? I actually haven't checked the schedule to see if they do play them again, but thank you for letting me know that, Brandon. 5 times in a season. Wow. That's a lot. But if you know the date, Brandon, comment it so we can look out for that. Because if it's in, let's say, March, we might have a good chance to see a fully healthy Knicks team play against the Celtics. I would really love to see that. Double M Despo said Hart over Barrett all day. I think right now we just have to support our guys that are on the team. We don't really have to get caught up in RJ Barrett and go on about that. I mean, he clearly did not fit on this team. Even if you're a huge RJ fan, you have to admit that. Vincent Johnson said the Knicks are playing shorthanded and the Pistons are an up-and-coming team, so don't sleep on them. Yeah, exactly. Mike Breen, Allenhan said it so much during the broadcast that this team, this young Pistons team, they're going to fight hard. A lot of their losses have been hard-fought losses. They've been close, so you're right. Don't sleep on them. Even though they have the worst record in the league, they have some really good young players. I mean, we saw Cade tonight. He was unstoppable. So, they have a few other too. Ozir Thompson, who literally is a really good defender. And now they have Quentin Grimes, who is another young weapon that they can utilize and develop him more, because we didn't really get to see Grimes to the best of his ability on the offensive end as a Knick. So hopefully he can do that here. Jonathan said Josh Hart ain't bad. He just has to stay consistent even though he's a sub starter. Yeah, I've gone down on Josh Hart before for missing a lot of shots earlier in the season and for not being a consistent player. I've definitely criticized him before, but I have to give him his credit. Like, the last, I would say, they showed the graphic in the game. The last 11 games, he's been playing really well, almost averaging a double-double, nearly 10 rebounds along with 11 points. So he's really been stepping up with how many guys we've had missing. He's stepped up, and he's trying his best out there. He's out hustling everyone on the court, pretty much. Westy West said Prime Melo versus Tatum 1v1. Who you got, Mill? I have to go Prime Melo. I'm sorry, I'm not going to choose Celtic over Melo, but Prime Melo was a dangerous dude. Dangerous. I mean, we're talking like in his prime. That's someone that's nearly unstoppable, and also an elite defender. I mean, Melo, obviously, as the years went on, his defense was not that great, but in his prime, he still was a great defender. So I'm taking Melo on that one. Brandon said Alec Bricks is legit the worst player on this team. I don't understand how he gets playing time. And I love the nickname you used for that, Brandon, Alec Bricks. I don't know. I hate to say that he is awful, because I just don't want to do it yet. I don't want to do it yet. I'm hoping that there will be some games where he comes in clutch and he's able to do something. But you're right. I think that there's some times where if he is not able to score, if he's not able to do anything, that he should get benched. He should get benched and, put in McBride, who will put in the effort and put in the defense there. Brandon said, and he takes playtime and development time from Deuce. Yeah. And that's not the first time we've seen that, if we're being honest. I mean, you remember 2021? It's not the first time he's taking time away from a young player trying to develop. And we did that trade because Bricks is a Tibbs guy, just like Taj. I forgot Taj wasn't on this team. For a second, I was like, where's Taj Gibson? I haven't seen him in a while, but they did not re-sign him. I think he had like 2 10-day contracts, but he's gone now. So, but you're right. He's definitely a Tibbs guy. He's been on the Knicks before. Tibbs likes him, and it sucks if he doesn't turn out to be what we thought he could be. A pure hooper, but someone that could also play like mediocre defense and at least put up some type of effort. I'm not really liking what I'm seeing so far, though. I agree with you. A lot of the shots are very selfish. He chucks up a lot of shots, but I just have to hope that if he is chucking up shots and he's not making the right plays, that Tibbs benches him. That's the only thing I could hope happens. He's on the Knicks. There's nothing we could do right now about it. Brandon said we play Celtics late April, one of the last few games of the regular season. Okay, I definitely think that might be a game where we have a healthy Knicks squad. If Julius Randle and OG make the right progress that they're supposed to be making, I'm pretty sure they're supposed to come back in like a few weeks. And we might have Mitch back sooner than ever. But I would really like to see that game, because we're 0-4 against them this season. We have not won a game against them, but every game we played against them has been a different story. We're undermanned, or we had a different team, whatever. I need to see this fully healthy Knicks team against them. Amesh said that was the most New York Knicks ending to a game that I've seen in a while. You're right. That was literally cardiac Knicks right there. The last 10 seconds of the game, I nearly had a heart attack just seeing what was going to happen, because it was so sloppy. Pistons turned it over, Knicks turned it over, whatever. And it was really the most Knicks ending you could ever have. We used to see those type of endings a lot. We used to see those a lot when we weren't. I think last season we used to have a lot of close games. I remember so many close games last season, including the Dallas game where Luka literally got his own rebound and put up the shot, won the game. Hate that game. I'll like forever remember that game in my head. But anyways, there was a lot of games that ended like tonight last season. Bagman said, can we send Burks back to the Pistons? I don't know, Bagman. If we could do it, like back for Grimes, would you do it? I mean, Grimes is a better defender. And look at what Grimes did tonight in the fourth quarter. That's insane, because we didn't really see him doing that on the Knicks too much. We did not see Grimes put up like 14 and a quarter and hit the clutch shots. But apparently he can do it now. Let's see. Westy West says, great answer. Prime Mello giving Tatum a 50 piece. This is probably a hot take, but do you think Randall is the Ewing of this generation? I don't know about that. I know the BKE account tweeted that on Twitter, that Randall is the Ewing of this generation, but I'm not too sold on that yet. I mean, I didn't get to watch Ewing live, but I've seen so many highlights, so many clips of how he played as a Knick, and I've heard so many stories from my dad. I just don't know if I'm ready to put Randall up at his status. And Ewing was a really, really hard worker, and so is Julius Randle. Huge, very hard worker, especially in the regular season. He fights. He doesn't usually miss a lot of games, except the season when, obviously he dislocated his shoulder. But before that, he usually played like every game since he's been a Knick. But I don't know. I don't think I would say that yet. Brandon said in 2 weeks we could have Mitch, Jew, and OG back. I'm really hoping we could. I'm really hoping we could. He said they said it on the broadcast early in the game. 2 weeks, wow. If we could get them back in 2 weeks, that's the best outcome right there. The sooner the better. Jason B said better Nick ending tonight or when Randall hit that insane 3 last year against the Heat. That 3 against the Heat was different. Tonight was great. Oh, my throat's getting very dry, but tonight was great. And that Josh Hart and one shot, that'll go down as a great shot. But Julius Randle's 3 against Miami Heat was something very, very different. I mean, that was the game winner. And I don't know, that game just felt so different right there. I'll always remember that game winner right there. Chief the Best said, great no call, Devo slap ball before collision. I actually didn't get to watch the replay. As soon as the game ended, pretty much just hopped on here, started to, get the live stream ready. So I didn't get to watch the replay of how it looked. But I trust your word for it. And, the game ended. There was no foul. So it is what it is. Bagman said, Grimes showed up. Burks was just upsetting. Bogey did his thing, so I'm not mad. Yeah, I really liked Bogdanovic tonight. He's definitely he's a great scorer, and he's not going to be able to do what he did on the Pistons, put up 20 a night. I don't think he can do it coming off the bench consistently, but 13, I'll take that. I'll full on take that. If he can do something like 13 to 15 a game off the bench, that's really good, and that's what we need. And I like the shots he's taking. They're smart shots. He's not really forcing anything too much. He's a pretty good 3-point shooter, so I want him to be taking those threes. You're right. Burks is upsetting. Brandon said it earlier. His name is now Alec Bricks, so you can go by that. Amesh said Julius Randle's like a better Latrell, not game-wise, but just that grit and grind he brings to the locker room. Yeah. One thing I really respect about Julius Randle is that he is just really hardworking. And, a lot of his teammates say that about him so much. And the coaches, Mike Breen, I've heard him mention that before too. He's a very hard worker, and he leads this team because of that. The way he I think a lot of it comes from knowing Kobe Bryant personally. I mean, he was his teammate, so he know what Kobe used to do exactly, and I'm pretty sure he tries to do the same. Whether that's trying to play every game and just working really hard, practicing, getting up shots. So that's what I respect about him the most. Jose said, do you think the Knicks will make it to 50 wins? I have not got the chance to check the rest of the schedule, for the rest of the season. So I have to look back on that, who else do we play? Is it really tough teams? I know someone mentioned we play the Celtics again, a 5th time this season. So I have to check. But I really do hope we hit 50. Before the season started, my prediction was that we would hit 50 wins. But a lot of things happened since then, and we've made trades. We've lost some guys. So it's going to be hard still being undermanned. But if we can get back OG or Randall or just one of them soon, and we have a better chance at winning games just by getting one of them back. And, if you add the rest of them back, I think we're a very different team. We're a very good team with all of them back. I say Eastern Conference Finals team. Jeep the Best said, can't write Burks off so soon. We all know what he's capable of. Yeah, I haven't really criticized him that much since he's become a Knick. And I think it's because, I don't think we should have such high expectations of him. I don't think we should really be expecting that much. Okay, a few buckets a night, but I don't, Bogdanovic is going to be doing a lot more. He was averaging 20 plus on the Pistons before he became a Knick. I believe Burks was at 11 or 12 points per game. So I just don't think we should expect too much of Burks. And we all know what he's capable of. We've seen him on the Knicks before in 2021. We know that team that went to the playoffs. That was the 4th seed in the East. He's just a pure hooper who will give you buckets when you need him to. We've seen him do it in the clutch. We've seen him do it in multiple fourth quarters when he was a Knick. So I don't have that many high expectations of him. I expect him to be a solid bench guy, basically. Junior the Epidemic said we got our Rockets loss back. Someone mentioned it earlier. The basketball gods let us have this because of what happened against the Rockets in that game. You're right. Maybe we don't have to win the protest anymore because we got this one tonight. People are saying it wasn't a foul. Someone said Devo hit it out before there was any contact. So if that's the case, I didn't get to look at the replay, but if that's the case, we won this game fair and square. Wesley West said there's times where Randall's attitude affects the team. He has his moments, but it's a love-hate relationship with him. Yeah, I agree. It's definitely a love-hate type of thing because we've seen him underperform in times where we needed him most, specifically the playoffs. But also, you have to start supporting the guy at some point. Like, he's been on the Knicks for a few years now. He's embraced this team, this city. And, he says he really wants to win here. It's just unfortunate if he has to enter the playoffs again with a lingering injury. Hopefully not. Like, we're waiting for when we can see a healthy Julius Randle in the playoffs because, he was having a phenomenal season before that he went down. We just want to see him win too. He wants to win in the city. We want to see him win too. I know we get on him a lot. We criticize him, and it's just a lot. I feel bad for him at times, but again, you're right. There's moments where his attitude affects the team, and we've seen it. We've seen a lot of moments on television where he is, he's going through it. He's taking his anger out on his teammates or the fans, whatever it is. So that's one thing I don't like, but hopefully he's getting his mental right during this time of rest. Hit him up said, I'd rather play Philly than Indiana in the first round. Yeah, if it's a Philly without a Joel Embiid, I'll definitely love to play them because they're struggling without Joel Embiid. It's pretty much only Maxey on that team that's trying to do something. When we played them the other day, he had like 32 points, and I don't think anyone else even had over 20. But it's gonna be a struggle for them without Embiid. I'm not sure how long or how much longer Embiid is going to be out. Maybe a few more weeks, or was it season ending? Was it a season ending injury? I saw some reports where they said he could come back sooner. Jason B said, I'd rather play Burks than McBride. Not gonna lie. I don't know because McBride's defense is super underrated. So I don't know. If we're talking about defensively matchups, I want McBride in there. But if Burks is like, if he has it going offensively, you want him in there instead. Jose said, are the Celtics the worst matchup for the Knicks in the East? Of course, 100%. They're the worst matchup for us. That's why I don't want to fall down in the standings. But we're 0-4 against them this season. They're built like a super team. They have a lot of weapons. Way too many weapons on that team. Brandon said it wasn't a foul. Azar didn't have control of the ball, and Devo hit all ball before the tackle, so it was a clean steal. Yeah, that's what they said before, like, the game was cut off, that he didn't have full control of the ball. So, you can't call a foul if he didn't have full control. Hit him up said, I like your hat, by the way. Thank you. It's a Knicks hat, as you can tell. Yo said, Pels fan, I rock with the Knicks, but not Stephen A. I don't think any Knicks fans rock with Stephen A. Smith. Like, I don't know anyone that does. I'm on Twitter or Twitter/X, and if you're on there, you know a lot of Knicks fans hate him a lot. He does not represent us Knicks fans. I don't even know if he watches the game, like the games truly. I don't know. He talks a lot about the Knicks and claims to be a Knicks fan, but I don't know if he actually watches the games. I didn't even really get to let me speak a little bit more on the other players of this team. The game tonight. I know I spoke on Brunson, DiVincenzo, and Hart. Hart was the player of the game. I mean, literally the game-winning shot, you'd say. So, player of the game is Josh Hart. 23 points, 6 assists, 8 rebounds. But shout out to the other Nova guys out there. DiVincenzo, 21 points, 4 assists, 2 steals. He also had 3 rebounds. I mean, DiVincenzo, we already know from the stretch that he's been going through, he has been lighting it up, especially from the 3-point line. He's shooting really well from the 3-point line, and they said it that no one has more threes in the NBA. No, the only person that has more threes in the NBA than DiVincenzo is Steph Curry. So that's all you need to know right there about DiVincenzo is that he can shoot the 3 ball really, really well. So shout out Devo. Let's see. And I already mentioned it. Brunson had 35 tonight and 12 assists. Look at that. Love to see that high number of assists right there. He had 2 steals as well. Honestly, when the game started in that first quarter, I think he had like 10 points, something around that. I thought he was going to have a 50 or 60 point game because he was making everything, and it looked like he had a good flow right there in that first quarter. But he did get cold a little bit, so he definitely felt it back again in the fourth quarter, and he was able to hit some clutch shots for us. Would have liked to see him get a 40 or 50 point game again, though. And Precious Achua tonight, he had 4 points, 11 rebounds, 2 steals. Precious did his thing. He did his thing. Didn't score that much tonight, but 11 rebounds is huge for us. And 4 of those are offensive rebounds. So he's getting us those second chance opportunities. I mean, I can't emphasize enough how much Precious has been for us. I mean, he's been huge, literally so underrated. He's been stepping up, and he's playing a lot of minutes every night. Even when we had like literally guys on the before All-Star break, when we had so many guys out, he was still there playing, and he was playing big minutes, 40 minutes a night. So I have a lot of respect for Precious, and got to give props to him. Hartenstein played 27 minutes tonight. He had 6 points, 8 rebounds, 4 assists. He did his thing as well. Really, really solid night from him. I don't think he's on a minute restriction anymore. I know the other night he only played 11 minutes, but yeah, he played 27 tonight. So, they eased him back in after his injury. Let's see. From the bench, Bogdanovic had 13 points. He had 6 rebounds. He was really solid. He hit some shots that were huge for us, honestly. Some threes that we really needed in the moment. And really, really solid game from him. He's really fitting into his role on the Knicks. Jericho Sims had 2 points, 6 rebounds, and, solid as well. In only 20 minutes. He's really out there grabbing all the rebounds, giving us those second chance opportunities, because out of the 6 rebounds, 4 of them were offensive. That's insane. 1 second. What's good? I'm back. I saw a few comments come in, and I was just speaking about the box score. Bogdanovich had 13. Sims, McBride had 2 points tonight. He only played 10 minutes, so he didn't really get much time tonight. And Burks had 7 points in 14 minutes. He was 3 for 9 from the field, so Burks is really struggling, honestly. A lot of the games so far, he has not been shooting well from the field or the 3-point line. I'm hoping he could find a groove soon because we need him to get it going. Bagman says, referring to earlier when we spoke about it, Stephen A. Smith is a Knicks bandwagon. He only hypes when we're up and never when we're down. Yeah. I mean, he'll definitely take a lot of credit for when we're up and he'll say a bunch of stuff, but when we're down, you're right. He doesn't really rock with us too much, and it just he'll start saying crazy stuff. Brandon said Stephen A. Smith lost all credibility when he said he wanted Miami to win in the Knicks Heat series so he can be in Miami for the finals. That's wild. I didn't even know he said that, but that is extremely wild. As a Knicks fan, no one would ever say that. No one would say that they want Miami to win. That's crazy. Kev said, I see something special in this team. I agree, Kev. This team is very special. I think it's one of the most special teams we've had in a long time. I mean, last year was special because that was Brunson's first season as a Knick, and we got to really embrace having a good point guard on the Knicks team. We haven't had that in so long, but this season is even more special. Despite all the injuries we're going through, we have a lot more pieces than we did last season, and I think it's really exciting. Kev said, "Was you jumping up cheering that game winner?" Kev, I'm gonna be honest. Like it was so quick. I mean, the end sequence when both teams were turning over the ball, and then Hart somehow got it, and he did the and one. Yeah, I was definitely jumping up and cheering for that. But when they were turning over the ball, both teams, I was scared, almost having a heart attack because I didn't know what was going to happen. I believe the Knicks were still down by 1 at that point. So we needed to get a bucket. We needed to get a shot. And it was so messy, but we did it. We did it. Shout out Josh Hart, literally player of the game tonight. Jeep the Best said that pull-up 3 down by 1 from JB was not the move to make. We dodged a bullet that game. Yeah, I definitely. He probably thought he was feeling it, but it wasn't the best shot. And I think his 3-point percentage, or I think he hasn't shot that well from the 3-point line recently. Let me check here. How many threes did he end up with? Oh yeah, he did not shoot well from the 3-point line tonight. He was 3 for 11. And I was speaking about this in the last post game I did, but I think he's struggling a lot from the 3-point line because Julius Randle used to assist on a lot of his threes. Whenever Randle would get doubled or whatever, when Randle had the ball, he'd assist on a lot of threes to Brunson. So without Randle there, it's a little bit hard for him to hit his threes, to get his threes going. I mean, 3 for 11 tonight. That was a struggle for him. Definitely don't. Yeah, now that I saw he was 3 for 11, that's not the type of shot you want to take when you're not really feeling it from the 3-point line. But pretty much I spoke about everyone tonight. Literally everyone, even McBride, who played 10 minutes tonight, but it was a good win to bounce back from the Celtics game. We needed this win to bounce back. I didn't want to go on another losing streak. Did not want that to start. So we got the win. And it's going to be a battle tomorrow night when we face the Pelicans. It's a back-to-back game. And it is at home, so there's our advantage there. But again, Pelicans are a good team. They're definitely better than the Pistons. So the Knicks have to bring their all tomorrow. And hopefully they're not a step slow in defense like they were tonight. I mean, tonight was awful on the defensive end. very disappointed in what I was watching, especially that first half. We let the Pistons have like 50 points in that first half. That shouldn't have happened. And the fact that we were never able to pull away in this game, we were never able to get a comfortable lead. Didn't like that. So we need to be better. You know, Tibbs is going to go off on them probably tonight. Even though the Knicks won, he's definitely going to go off on them. But that's for the better. They need to really get their mindset right tomorrow and bring their A game. It's going to be a tough one. The game tomorrow is at 7:30. So I'll see you guys tomorrow after the game. I'll do another post-game show, and hopefully it's a win. Fingers crossed it's going to be a win. But thank you to everyone who tuned into the post-game show tonight. Please like, comment, share, whatever. Do all of it. And subscribe if you're not already. I assume most of you that are watching are subscribed to the channel. But if you're not, subscribe. And I have to shout out the Big Nick Energy merch shop. If you guys don't know, we do sell a lot of merch. Go to bignickenergy.com and check it all out. I mean, tonight, literally shout out Isaiah Hartenstein. He wore the big Ragu hoodie. I actually have the shirt on right now. I don't know if you guys can really see it, but it says the big Ragu. It's really great. And it highlights Donte DiVincenzo because that's his nickname, the big Ragu. So if you want to support, go head over to bignickenergy.com and check out the merch. But otherwise, everyone have a great night, and I'll see you guys tomorrow after the Knicks game.